Some stories of heroes and adventure begin with a call to action. Sometimes this is boy being bullied in his new town. Sometimes a mad alien witch is freed from her prison to wreak havoc upon the earth. Sometimes it's taking a shortcut down Crime Alley. But usually this type of villain-led causality is what launches many a heroic tale. But not this one. Oh no! This story doesn't begin with an inciting incident caused by a nemesis or foe. Oh no! This fable begins with a lesser-known hero origin trope. The tragic hero. The hero so flawed he creates his own problems, his own nightmares, his own torment. This tale begins with your hero, the mighty ZXL, the trophy hunter and YouTuber adored across the lands, heralded as the not-so-shit gamer he once was.
But still pretty shit.
This is the tale of his most gargantuan mistake. How a simple decision would send him to the depths of hell, then dragged back kicking and screaming for another ride on the torture train. But he bought the ticket. He bought that ticket every day for the whole of last year. The ultimate self-imposed Groundhog Day. So what did our fearless hero do that was so stupid, so masochistic, that he has to make an overly elaborate video with a ridiculously pretentious but cliched narration just to garner your sympathies and adulations, even if it is delivered by an audibly divine and devilishly handsome Irish chap? But what folly could he possibly have committed to that would birth such madness?
I try to get a trophy every day for 2023.
What are you, fucking stupid?
Ah yes, the ADHD-addled mind that cannot commit to a 3-hour-long movie intended to pop a trophy every day of 2023. A man who took 3 attempts to get the Rayman Legends Platinum because he couldn't be bothered to do the daily challenges. A man who vowed to exercise every day but has not so much as walked to the corner shop since Christmas Eve. A man who watches anime with dubs, not subs. Not relevant, I know, but he's a cretin who should be publicly shamed for being an uncultured swine. Let me regale you,
gentle viewers,
with a tale of utter stupidity from one of the dumbest gamers on YouTube. Here is the story of ZXL's year-long trophy streak.
So let's go.
Now, with ZXL being an avid gamer and trophy hunter, his streak that should have begun at the dawn of 2023 actually begins 2 days previous, on December 30th. So, in his own words, the first true trophy of the real streak was the aptly named First of Many. This bronzer, as he so crudely calls them, would launch him into his trophy rampage. But as January got off to a good start, he would inevitably soon hit a stumbling block, in this case, much to this narrator's disgust, a Star Wars Platinum.
So my first Platinum fail of the year was for Star Wars Battlefront, which I popped a trophy on years ago, decided after about 30-40 minutes I didn't fucking like the game, and put it away. But as it's part of my annual backlog bash, I had to go back to it, and with a great team of boosters like Deadman ready to help, I gave it another hour and I decided I just couldn't be bothered. I just could not be bothered with that game.
So, on the 7th of January, just a week after beginning his trophy streak quest, he gave up on a platinum, one from his backlog no less, quitting as all around him expected.
I bet his beloved guy Fruski is real proud of him right now.
As a phoenix rises from the flame, so too do mediocre gamers like Zach. He overcame his pathetic Battlefront failure by earning one of the worst trophies ever conceived by a developer, a coma-inducing grind that is surely used in the lower bowels of hell to torture those boosters who leave the party right after they pop their trophy, but no one else has got theirs yet. Yes, I'm talking about you, Wingding969, you petulant shit. Anyway, enough of my woe. Back to the worst trophy ever created.
the dazzling personality silver, which you earn for spending 6, 7, maybe 8 hours just grinding out simulated games in FIFA. Also that you can buy crap and do stuff that makes your personality 75% dominant in one area.
Earning his first platinum of 2023 from that sadistic little salvo, the ultra-rare FIFA 23 Platinum, a series we all know Zach is a complete simp for.
That's exactly what they brought him back for!
And the rest of his January just flew by. Carried by his friends in Arcade-ageddon, he barely even thought about the streak. He just gamed gleefully with his pals like he was 8 years old again, sat on a cringy brown sofa with his friends on a wet and windy Saturday morning, Mega Drive controllers in all their little hands, Deathloop, Phlegathon and Jedi Fallen Order rounded off his month, a productive start to his daunting quest. Now, filled with confidence and the sort of mojo legends like Austin Powers are filled with, our little Welsh hero gleefully ran into February with his head held high. His confidence now so high that he had found real consistency with his trophy hunting, so much so that on the 7th of February, a month on from his Battlefront disaster, ZXL popped a platinum that truly deserves recognition. A platinum that takes literally months of daily play. The infamous Rayman Legends Platinum Trophy. Well, with that monkey finally off his back, ZXL was now brimming with the type of confidence only Cristiano Ronaldo and Ryan Gosling deserve to have. But overconfidence is a dangerous thing for any man, but for a man with the
emotional maturity of a blueberry scone
can be catastrophic, and Zach has the emotional depth of a shot glass. Quite literally some nights.
What this challenge did give me was some really mad trophies, and my favourite for February was the Death Day suit Silvo, which, check it out.
Silvo. What a chavtastic word.
Shut it, you, it's my turn now, because the Death Day suit trophy was perfect. On day when I had no time whatsoever, I was having a rough time, and I needed a fun little trophy, and Deathloop, God bless it, gave me that trophy. The Death Day suit Silvo. So, and to be fair, Deathloop has some really fun trophies. In fact, the trophy list is fantastic. I just didn't enjoy the game. Yeah, back to you, Paddy.
Get racial with me, you sheep shagging shit. Little did Zach notice that while pumping out ultra-rare platinums and comedy gold trophies, he had also pivoted his gaming dramatically. His annual tradition of working out his backlog Jan to March ended with a whimper, only to be replaced with short, easier games that guaranteed regular trophies.
See, I did realise I was starting new games that weren't as long as the games I had originally planned for 2023. But bear in mind at this time I was taking on quite a few hard games at the same time.
Hard for you.
Who invited you?
It's my channel too, remember?
And this is about me celebrating and mocking my hetero life partner. You've always been the third wheel, crew. No you.
Emotional damage!
Okay, yeah, hard for me. Fine, ha ha ha. But I always like to have a variation of games on the go, and as I've always played like that, I felt that was the best way to take on the streak, with having multiple different games, different genres, at different points of completion as well, to keep me going with the streak. And yeah, everyone knows I'm just a filthy rat plat lover, so...
And like the good Catholic boy he is, Zach would punish himself in the most appropriate manner. He double-dazzled down by stacking the FIFA 23 Platinum Trophy, conquering that infernal trophy once again.
Strangely, February, being the shortest month of the year, was actually my most productive. Now, this was a leap year, so maybe that extra 24 hours really paid off for me, but I had 7 platinums, 3 of which were ultra rare, so at this point of the year, I was pretty damn proud of myself.
Not too shabby for a guy who can barely beat 5 out of 10s, then goes crying about the PSNP guide raiders all over YouTube. You arrogant, ungrateful shit of a trophy hunter.
Whoa.
I'm sorry. Sometimes you just sicken me.
I can relate.
No one fucking asked you, Cru! Let's move on to March, shall we? Now in a groove, our hero began March with a nostalgic gem. A short and relatively easy platinum, but one every 80s born gamer should play. Alternating between the Crysis 3 remaster that did bug out the collectibles on him, but his trusty OCD helped him cross the finish line after a second playthrough.
The Crysis games are one of my favourite FPS franchises of all time, and it was a joy to round off the trilogy of remasters with Crysis 3. Despite being bugged out of the collectibles for my first playthrough, I still had a great time waving off the Crysis trilogy.
But despite popping 3 platinums in March, this is where things got tricky for ZXL. It was March where he took on way too much, and something was certain to give. Adding Injustice Gods Among Us, the Serious Sam collection, and the indescribably awful Battlefield 2042, tough games already way above his hilariously low skill ceiling, and yet he still decided March was the time to start his Mein Leben training, which, once again, Zach, does not at all mean men live, you moron. Imagine being so stupid you mistranslate a common German phrase when you are surrounded by German-speaking friends. But after popping the notorious Circle of Death bronzer in the Serious Sam trilogy, an unobtainable trophy in the North American stack due to a bug, everything started falling apart. Our flawed protagonist was running into familiar problems. He sucked at gaming, and also sucked at sticking to any form of routine. April was a month that began with so much hype that it almost exploded our hero's little ADHD adult brain, meeting up with legends he admired and respected for the glorious Comic-Con in lovely Liverpool, Guy Fieriski, Vault Boy Steve, Plat Bro, Crimson Purgatory, and the villain of this section of our tale, the one our boy Zach loved the most, the one he trusted the most, the demon with the face of an angel, Viger!
Everyone else's defense, the most funny.
Now, you will probably already know of the events that occurred in Liverpool and what those dastardly chads did to our boy. But if not, check out this video linked now to catch up. Suffice to say, it was a meaty weekend away, but the streak persisted.
I actually haven't gone back to Super Meat Boy yet, but I will do Figer, I promise, when you go back to Final Fantasy for Spedgy.
Realising his folly and that his skill ceiling was too low to take on the multiple hard games at once, Zach would then focus on one toughie at a time, a flurry of fun but easy plats like Gardens Between, Duck Souls and the rather enjoyable Infestor, focusing on Serious Sam's hardest trophy, the ultra rare Are You Serious? Goldie for beating some of Sam's trilogy on the serious difficulty. This would eventually become one of his proudest ever trophies. On the 10th of April, he earned that bastard of a trophy, and I can't lie, even I was proud of our Welsh friend. GG. Sadly, the flaws in both his streak and his gaming in general was beginning to become clearer and clearer. The easy games that kept his trophy streak going were beginning to clog up his beloved trophy list and outweigh the respectable or difficult games he was working on. Now, he would tell you this was due to his stern commitment to practicing for Mein Leben, but this excuse falls a little flat. Now we're in 2024 and he still hasn't got that Wolfenstein 2 Platinum trophy. The stark contrast in his gaming became clear as he entered May, when he began one of the worst games he has ever played, Radio Squid. With April's platinums rather pathetic and embarrassing, our idiot, our hero. Anyway, with our idiot deeply ashamed of his April foolery, he decided to ploy into those trickier games and even out his platinum quality.
In my defense, I was playing some pretty big, tough games, some of which required a lot of boosting, and I always have a healthy play stack.
You think Jumpin' Taco is a healthy game?
Fuck off.
Point and fact. Right. Working hard, but getting nowhere near finishing a run without dying, he continued his Mindlaben training. In May, he managed an entire run with only 7 deaths. To boost his confidence, Zach would return to the Serious Sam collection to tidy up the last miscellaneous trophies and earn that gloriously tough and ultra-rare platinum, one of a handful of half-decent platinums he earned in 2023. Credit where it's due, I guess.
I'd like to see you plat that fucker, smartass.
Don't make me embarrass you, son.
I think May was actually the most fun I had gaming all year, actually. We had things like Infamous Burst Light, Bulletstorm, Tekken 7, and the bizarre but brilliant Chicken Police, which was absolutely wonderful. Pairing those fun and shorter games with, or sillier games maybe, like with Bulletstorm, is just childish teenage humour, with my Mindlaben training and polishing off Bulletstorm, I think that was the right balance for me at the time.
Balance you would soon lose, my friend. With balance restored and confidence returning, he left me more sure than ever he could platinum Wolfenstein 2 and finish up his ambitious year-long streak. I guess he was half right. Now, there are many of you possibly wondering why is it so hard for Zach to pop a trophy every single day? Surely he games most days, right? Well, yes, he does, and although he is always trophy hunting, that doesn't mean he always pops a trophy. You see, Zach loves a big game, a 200-hour commitment where trophies pop sporadically, but having to actually earn a trophy every single day was a big change for him. You see, he's a busy working family guy and his time is pretty limited. Having to use his gaming time every day just to prop a trophy was becoming trickier and trickier. His Wolfenstein training was going well. He completed an I Am Death Incarnate run with only 4 deaths this time, his best run all year. Ironically though, all those deaths occurred in a side objective he didn't even have to do.
But I needed the weapon though, it's key to my game plan.
Oh, and what game plan is that? To fall off ledges into electrical fields? On the 21st of June, he killed 2 enemies in Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart with a single ricochet round and popped the no need for multi-ball.
Just to point out, I was besotted with Rift Apart. I think that's a fucking beautiful game. Loved every second with it. And it is still one of my favourite platinum trophies I've ever earned.
But the next morning, when he returned to his cherished PS5 to continue his adventures with Ratchet and Rivet, disaster struck. For that morning, our hero woke up to the worst possible crisis. His PS5 would not connect to a monitor. You see, a very common problem with the PS5 is that the HDMI port is incredibly fragile, and it's actually the most popular repair by CEX. Zach was victim to this fateful issue. The streak stopped dead in its tracks, not by his lack of commitment or even skill, but due to an unpredictable, unforeseen technical issue. But did this stop him? Did this break our hero? No. But it certainly sent him into a downward spiral. Having to play kids' games on the family PS4, his gaming was limited, constricted, and not at all fun. He was forced to give up his Mindlaben quest as the 3 weeks he was without his own console pushed him out of the Mindlaben zone. A moment of silence for the end of his most cherished quest, one I expect him to return to in the new year.
Yes, I will earn that platinum, whether it kills me over and over and over again. And thanks to my good friend Platinum Vault and his incredible Mindlaben guide, I will be going back to Wolf 2 this year to finish that big bastard off once and for all. You should most definitely check out Platinum Vault's incredible channel. He's got a whole series of mini questions, and honestly, so much fun, and I can't wait to see what he does with them.
Yes, that is true. He makes much better, more wholesome content than Zach. TBH, I wonder why you're even watching Zach's crap.
Probably because you're guest narrating, to be fair, bro.
Well, I didn't want to say it.
Yes, you do.
Okay, guilty. But if you do like my dulcet Irish tones, then check out my channel, Turtlebat, and come join my collectors community.
But June ended with a big life change as well, let's not forget that. Yeah.
That is very true, to be fair. In terms of the months, Zach was now halfway through the streak, but without a console of his own, he was uncertain if he'd manage to last until the official midpoint of the year, the 2nd of July. Under incredible pressure from work and family, and time being more limited than ever before, the streak was not looking as sure as it was before his PS5 broke down. Would our hero make it to the 2nd, or was this the point of failure? We all reach a breaking point. None of us are immune to the impact of high stress levels. Zach is no different, and July was without doubt the toughest month for him last year. Giving up on Mein Leben had killed his confidence. Waiting for his PS5 to be repaired was driving him mad and sliding him out of the carefully planned routine he had devoted himself to in order to maintain the streak. July was without a doubt the make or break month for our hero. Find out how it goes next week. Same bad time, same bad channel.
Fuck are you talking about? We're doing this in one video, bro.
Really? You think anyone wants to hear you waffle on for nearly an hour?
Probably no one. Ergo, why I recruited you to already pleasure my wonderful audience.
Well, I see. So, like your English brethren, you are merely using the Irish for cheap labour. What is this, the 70s? So, Zach began July with no PS5, having given up on Wolfenstein 2 and now overrun with work and family responsibilities. His beloved crew and their adorable daughter helped maintain the streak, but our boy was slipping into a depressive period that jeopardized all of his goals and dreams of 2023. Those wonderful girls helped him reach the 2nd of July, the midpoint of the year and of his streak attempt. He was already on the longest streak of his to date, but strangely earned less trophies than in other shorter streaks. Using the time game to the DC animated comedy DC Super Pets, a film he loves and a game that didn't entirely drive him mad, he and his daughter then started the abysmally embarrassing Peppa Pig.
I'm not embarrassed by Pepper. I played it with my kid. I loved it. Great fun. No problem with that. 2 or 3 hours with my kid. Wonderful. It was wonderful. No regrets.
Ever you say, sweetie. After what had felt like an eternity, Zach finally received the text message he had waited so long for. The confirmation from CEX that his beloved PS5 was finally back in their store, repaired and ready for collection at long last. Zach drove to the shop like he was a character from the Fast and the Furious, which makes sense as he was playing the relatively enjoyable Spy Racers game connected to the Netflix series of the same name. Reunited then with his cherished console, the true love of his life, he felt determined to return to his streak, but despite having great games on his play stack, July served up many big events in life that exhausted him. Even the fun games had become a struggle, and the euphoria of having his PS5 back safe and sound returned home to him was too fleeting to have any real impact. With the kids' games all polished off, he returned to Gotham Knights with his body plat bro. He took on TMNT Shredder's Revenge with his friends, and I carried them all through the platinum, despite not earning it myself, because
that's what heroes do.
Did I even get a shout out in his video about it? Nope. Did I get any help from any of them to get the platinum myself? Also no. I even had to level up the DLC characters for Zach because he was too cheap to buy the £5 DLC and do it himself. But despite me carrying him through his only nuclear game of the year, or ever really, and despite how much fun he had dicking around with P-Bro in Gotham.
Yeah, dick. Nice.
You wrote the script.
I know.
I've got mad skills.
Yes, but not when it comes to Souls-likes. You claim it to be your weakest genre.
The turning point for me, or the breaking point maybe, was Thymesia, which is a wonderful little Souls-like game. It has a fantastic combat system, an interesting lore, kind of a very curiosity-provoking world, and some rather fun bosses as well. However, I could not get into a flow with it. I could not get into a flow of the story or the combat because I didn't have enough time to actually game, and I was a little bit burnt out, so I was only jumping on the PlayStation to play, pop a trophy, and then jump off again. So I wasn't getting to grips with the game at all. I didn't feel invested in the game, and the frustration grew and grew and grew, and the only thing that kept me going at this point was the fact that my completion percentage was now solidly above 75%. That was the only thing that kept me going.
Yes, we know, the Manchester incident. Link to that video in the description, and oh boy, is that worth a watch. Even I enjoyed that one. But then in it, Zach does two things he almost never does. One, he not only admits he made a mistake, but two, he apologizes for it.
It's called emotional growth.
Yes, you are finally growing up as you close in on being fucking 40. I mean, Zach, Jesus, Mary and Joseph, dude. You tantrumed because your mates played games on your PS5. Really? Like, maybe you should have taken heed of your first Thymesia trophy, you know, the Take a Break bronzer, and you could have avoided being such an absolute knobhead. Now, August, our boy's birth month, and the abysmal strop he threw in Manchester. Much like New Year, Zach likes to use his birthday as inspiration to do better, all part of his self-improvement ideals. Not that he's improved in anything in the 13 years I've known him, but still.
I went into August determined to finish the games that I had in my play stack, get over my Mein Leben failure, and focus on the final third of the year.
Honestly, I think the only reason he carried on was due to his friends. Mostly me. I am pretty wonderful.
You're alright, I suppose.
Rich, please, you know you love me.
Who's still out there?
Gotham Knights and Thymesia polished off and uninstalled with aggression. His TMNT, Shredder's Revenge, Platinum Adventure nearing its end, all getting him back on track and into a better place mentally.
Two trophies I popped in August that really reminded me why I love trophies so much and why this streak was so important to me. Firstly, the solid alibi bronzer in Gotham Knights, which reveals a hidden scene that just had me rolling on the floor laughing. It's Bruce Wayne drunk dancing in his pants. That's exactly what I want from a trophy. I want trophies to reward us with in-game rewards, such as secret scenes or, you know, better weaponry. Something that you can only get in the game if you earn it. Much like the Nightfall protocol in Arkham Knight. Secondly, the Rock of the Bay bronzer in Destroy All Humans 2 Reprobed, one of my favourite franchises of all time, and if Skyrim was too big a time investment during this streak, then Destroy All Humans was the perfect game for me to go to relight that fire.
With his fire relit, his confidence resurgent, and everything in his play stack very appealing once again, ZXL soared into September, reinvigorated and ready to keep going. September began with a bang. His first platinum will be the one I still require a chiropractic adjustment weekly from carrying his hairy Welsh arse. Zach, Crimson, Raven and myself battled our way to victory in Shredder's Revenge's arcade mode on hard, a truly testing challenge for all of us, made even harder by a bug at the end of the game that, well, it was a nerve-biting ending to a wonderful platinum earned with great friends, apart from me of course, who apparently did not deserve the platinum myself, despite carrying all of them through the hardest trophies in the game single-handedly. After sliding his most impressive platinum of the year into his trophy cabinet, Zach moved on to 2 new games with friends. He reunited with his Chivalry 2 crew to take on Mordhau, made by half the team of devs who created the first Shiv, but sadly Mordhau is far inferior to Zach's Chivalry 2. A bizarre platinum that is impossible to do solo, but so easy in a boosting group, it left our chads feeling like they'd just done a group grubby. But his adventures with Deadman Walking on Sniper Elite 5 would be his surprise game of the year.
It's just a ridiculously addictive. Huge thanks to Deadman for recommending it and boosting it with me and carrying me all the way through the authentic playthrough.
September flew by, with Zach comfortably popping trophies daily thanks to his new routine and renewed confidence. The end of September, however, provided the best example of how Zach felt about his gaming in 2023. You see, on one hand, he started the abysmal medium, which drove him to the brink of tears as his collectibles bugged out and he was forced to do a second playthrough. His loving wife Cru being the rock of support he always needs, he's a needy bitch, cuddled and carried him through it like a weak little baby. But at the same time, he began the delightful unpacking, which is exactly what it sounds like. You just unpack stuff, and Zach played this game unpacking all his stress and strife away. Sometimes you just find the perfect game at the perfect time. And it was unpacking that dropped a trophy our boy finally paid attention to, the Get Smart Bronzer for completing the 2004 move level.
And I listened, especially while the medium was driving me mad. Being in the final third with 3 months left to go, I finally got smart on how to finish this trophy streak.
He soon released his video titled Why I Don't Give a Fuck About Completion Percentage. He had finally found a truly decent balance. He began the newly titled FIFA installment EAFC 24 with his buds and relaxed as he played Ultimate Team while finishing off Sniper Elite 5. He had games he loved and games that had easily popped trophies, but not easy platinums.
There was the Hellboy slip-up.
Yes. Well, that one not even I will begrudge you, as that game was bugged in release, and though it has now been patched, it was only done so a short time before the making of this video. And with you being a total Mike Munoz sim enthusiast...
You were going to say sim.
I was not.
Yeah, you were. You were going to say sim.
How dare you?
Quite easily.
I take it back. He's useless and gave up on the game because he might be bugged out of the platinum. Total amateur hour.
Rank arrogant amateur.
Just like with October, Zach began his November by unpacking, stress and a trophy. The home cooking bronzer popped and set him up for a solid month ahead. Now, some games drop into our laps at the right time for a reason, but sometimes that doesn't make it an enjoyable experience. You see, when Zach began Square Boy vs Bullies, he thought it would just be another easy platinum to help him with his streak. What he got was an infuriating nightmare of a grub that broke his love of easy plats once and for all. It is the last easy plat on his list, and from the screaming down the phone that I heard while he played it, I imagine it will remain so.
What really hit in November though was how quickly I went through EAFC 24. Now normally when I get a FIFA game, by the time I've got that platinum, I am sick to death of it. I didn't get anywhere close to that level with EAFC 24.
As the loving bro that I am, I sent ZXL my own copy of Spider-Man 2 so he could platinum it, assuming he would make a video on it. I'm still waiting, but his ADHD struck like lightning, and he got distracted by the Ghost Runner 1 DLC.
Which is fucking brilliant DLC, by the way. Fucking spectacular. Very fucking tastic. Some of the best DLC I've ever fucking played. I loved it. Brilliant, fantastic, and it acts as a prequel to the first Ghost Runner, which God, I love those games.
So you've told me a million times, but November out of the way and a good mix of platinums in the bag, it was time for the final stretch. The last month, the conclusive 31 days of our hero's adventure. How are you feeling at this point?
I'm tired, boss.
Not surprised. Must have been exhausting, ignoring your family, friends, and gaming every day like a homeschooled 12-year-old.
Fucking ouch, man. Fucking ouch.
I'm getting tired now.
I could see that.
Maybe if you paid me in more than empty promises of boosting, I could afford Red Bull and energize myself.
The Joker's mum said that if you're good for something, never do it for free.
Wait, what? You cheeky bastard. After finishing the Project Hell DLC from Ghost Runner,
Which was awesome.
yes, you covered that already, he finally returned to Spider-Man 2, a sequel he would quickly get into and enjoyed far more than the first game or Miles Morales. But we all know at this point how he feels about Miles' game.
DLC, not a game.
Yes, we all agree. No one is on the other end of that argument, Zach.
Well, lucky for us.
Drop it already. Jesus Christ. Now, Zach was so enamored with Spidey's second installment, he actually managed to stay away from Ghost Runner 2, the game he was most hyped for this year, until he popped the platinum. Only then did he return to Ghost Runner 2's campaign.
But this is when I really relaxed about the streak, the last 25 days or so. I knew I was going to get it. I knew it couldn't go wrong. I played Telling Lies with Cru. We love to play games like that instead of watching TV. I did the God of War DLC, which was simply fucking divine and just absolutely brilliant on every level.
So make a video about it. He chose to play easier games again as feeling burnt out, gaming was becoming a chore once more. Luckily, the quality of games he played and the simply spectacular DLC he polished off was the perfect combination for the final stretch of his streak.
The whole year had been a much bigger challenge than I had possibly expected. Playing Edith Finch's PS5 stack with Cru and stacking Pumpkin Jack, I had to make the final run in as easy on myself as possible, especially with it being Christmas and the kids both being home. Time was once again precious. Luckily, I felt comfortable dropping games that were not fun enough or not what I was feeling at the time. Escapists 2 and Power Wash Simulator put aside for the time being to be enjoyed properly in the new year. I finished the year strong, but with games that protect my love of gaming and trophy hunting. I learned about myself, trophies, and the trophy hunting community.
So, going for 500 days next time?
Absolutely fucking not.
And so, there you have it, everyone. A 365-day trophy streak, with ZXL popping a trophy every single day of 2023, including getting not 1, not 2, not 10, not 20, but 49 platinum trophies. What a year 2023 was. A year of challenge, stupidity, personal growth, and finding the perfect way for ZXL to enjoy his favourite hobby. Not a bad year for our little Zach. Can't wait to see what stupid shit he tries in 2024. I'm Gary, this is ZXL. Be good to each other.